Today we're going to be making cobs. Cobs are also called rolls, bread rolls, for some reason also barm cakes, for some reason biscuits, but I call them cobs. So, start off, 3 cups of bread flour. The reason I use bread flour is because it's stronger than plain flour or self-raising flour, and it makes a chewier, nicer dough. Okay, so there's 3 cups of flour, a pinch of salt. I do use sea salt. I do find it has a better flavour than table salt. That's what I know. Okay. 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. Depending on the size, this makes approximately 12 rolls. That's what's on the inside. Right, so I've got 3 cups of flour, a pinch of salt, 1/4 of a cup, so some left, of olive oil, 1 sachet, which is approximately 2 teaspoons of yeast. I use this yeast, which comes in this packet. There are plenty of others. There's brewer's yeast, there's lots of different types that you can get, but those ones need setting in water whilst you're waiting for them, proving in water for about 10 minutes or so. These are already ready, so it's fine to use them. We're going to use 1 cup of tepid water. So bear with me 1 moment. Tepid water is water that's only just warm. It's not cold, because if it's cold, the yeast won't prove. And it's not too hot, because if it's too hot, it will kill the yeast. So, dip your finger in it, and it should be cold, but not icy cold. A little bit warm, but not overly warm. It's very difficult to describe tepid. Okay. We pour that in, and already you can see the yeast starting to foam. Now my kitchen is quite warm because I always have my central heating on, but you might want to put the oven on to warm the room up a little bit, because the dough needs to be in a warm place to rise. I always leave making rolls or bread or pizza dough to a day when I've got more time. This is not the kind of recipe you want to be doing when you've only got half an hour to an hour at the very most to be making dinner. These also freeze really well. And to get this mixed together. If it's too dry, then we'll add a little bit more olive oil, and if it's too moist, then we'll add a little bit more flour. But I'm feeling this is going to be just right. I just take my bracer off, otherwise it's going to get caked in dough. So now that that's combined, we want to start kneading it. I tend to keep it in the bowl when I'm kneading it as much as possible, purely because it minimises mess. And as you knead it, you can feel it stretching. That's the gluten strands stretching. And you know you've done it right when you can feel it stretchy. If it just feels like block and it's ripping apart, or like cookie dough, where you go to stretch it and it just comes apart, that means your water was too hot or too cold, because it would have killed your yeast, and it's your yeast that helps this. Right, that's the stage where I need to take it out, so just take it out and start kneading it on the surface. It feels nice and soft and smooth. If you can see that. The light, wherever I put this, the light is always really bad. Anyway, there. It's nice and waxy to look at. It's nice and soft and stretchy when you need it. It's a good workout as well. I'm going to be kneading this for a good few minutes to make it nice and stretchy. Obviously it goes without saying, I did wash my hands and wipe down the surfaces before I started doing this. Alright, I think that's enough kneading for now. I'll pop it back in this bowl. I'm going to get a clean tea towel, put it over the top, and that'll stop it drying out. Then I'm going to put this into a nice warm place. For me at the moment, I've had the oven on, so that's just under my grill. Grill isn't on. I will leave that until it's doubled in size, so roughly 20 minutes to half an hour, and the dough should have doubled in size, so I'll see you again then. Right, so the rolls have been rising for around about half an hour, so let's check them out. You can see that dough is now about double what it was. So what we're going to do is take it out. It smells really bready and nice as well. It's lovely and warm. I'm going to knead it again. You'll feel the air coming out of it, popping out of it as you're doing that. It'll be squidging. I don't know if you can hear it on the sound. Give it a good knead. Make it nice and soft and airy dough. Kneading it a lot stops it from being heavy. I absolutely love fresh rolls done like this. They're so nice. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut them. So I'm going to cut this dough in half, 2 halves. Then cut it in half again. Now I'm making burger rolls. Let's see, 4 might be a bit much actually, a bit big, because they will double. Let's try again, put them back together, and let's cut them, instead of into 2, cut them into 3. As you see, as the knife goes in, the dough actually comes away from the knife. Right, so what we're going to do is individually knead each of our rolls. Cobs, barm cakes, baps, whatever you want to call them. Buns, I call them cobs. They are cobs. It's generally the cause of big arguments between my southern Facebook friends and my northern Facebook friends. Southerners call them rolls, us northerners call them cobs. I have had the odd random person call them barn cakes, and I don't even know what that means. Okay, so that's 2. What I try and do is, once I've finished kneading them into the roll, I try and get them into like a roll shape. So if there's any sticky outy bits, like that, I'll fold them underneath with a good pat so it's circular as opposed to a triangle or an oblong or some weird shape. It just makes things easier, especially if you're making burger rolls, because I'm going to make spicy bean burgers tonight. Okay, it's quite small. Don't forget, they will double in size, maybe even more than that, depending on how well you've kneaded them. Okay, so we go, all random sizes and shapes, but it doesn't matter. Now, you can get any oven tray you want. I'm just using a pizza one because that was close to the top. So we're going to pop these on, spread them apart, so that you give them all a chance to rise. Okay, then we're going to put these in a warm place with your tea towel on for about half an hour. Leave them to rise. See you in half an hour. Right, so it's been approximately half an hour now since the rolls have been into the oven. So let's take them out and see how they're doing. Not in the oven, sorry, rising. And there we go, that's what we've got so far. So they look great. So what we need to do is, I've got an oven preheated to gas mark 6. We need to go the second shelf up in your oven. So just below centre, but not actually at the bottom. We put these in for approximately 12 minutes. Let's put the timer on. Okay, so we check them again in 12 minutes, but do keep your eye on them, just in case you put them too close to the back of the oven and they burn, because if you've got a gas oven, anything too close may burn. If you've got an electric oven, should be totally fine, but just still keep an eye on them anyway. We'll see you back in 12 minutes. Right, it's been 12 minutes, so let's have a look and see what they look like. My beef has just gone up. These look really good. Okay. Best way to tell if cobs are done is take one fresh from the oven and tap it on the bottom. Can you hear that? If it sounds hollow, then they're done. That's it. Leave them to cool on a wire rack and then serve them. Enjoy.